What's up, Louie? It's Guys here. Hope you are doing great. In this video, I'm going to talk about 9 creative ways that you can make money with vacant land in South Africa. With that said, each of these ways that I'm going to list has its own advantages and its own disadvantages. One of the most important aspects when it comes to these strategies is the location of that specific land. You can't go ahead and buy an undesirable piece of land in a random area and expect to make massive returns. So just take this list that I'm going to share with you with a grain of salt and understand that there's certain stuff that we can't cover in this video, and they are only listed as examples, and you can do your own research on each and every strategy that I mention. The first creative way to make money with vacant land is to simply buy a piece of land and to hold on to it for the long term to later resell the exact same piece of land. Unfortunately, there is some speculating involved with this strategy, and again, the location of that piece of land is very important. If you, for example, buy a piece of land in the Western Cape that has a sea view and you can see that there's properties being built next to your piece of land, that might be a good option to hold on over the long term to later resell for a profit. This is one of the easiest ways to buy vacant land and to profit from it without having to put down a lot of your own money. You'll just have to cover the rates and taxes while you hold on to that land. The second creative way is to allow advertisement on your property. This is an interesting one, and you can, for example, get advertisement rights for your property and set up billboards when your property is visible to highways or busy streets. Just imagine driving next to the highway, the amount of billboards that you see in certain areas. Just remember, people pay to advertise on those billboards. This is an interesting strategy and definitely one of the more creative ways to use existing land to generate money. Again, location is going to be very important for this strategy because you need a visible piece of land with good traffic so that someone will see it as a desirable advertisement area. The third creative way is to subdivide your land. Imagine buying a 800-hectare farm and you will only be needing around half of the available land. You can actually go ahead and subdivide your land and resell the part that you don't want to use. Again, there's subdivision costs involved and it's quite a mission to actually do it. But if you do it correctly and follow the right and legal steps, it can be a very profitable way to use land to resell a part of it and to continue using the existing part that you want to use for your own investment. Number 4, which is probably one of the most popular options, is to develop land. If you buy vacant land in a great area with a lot of demand for developments, it might be a good idea to develop a type of property to either sell or to rent out. This can be as simple as building a freehold property and reselling it for a profit, or doing a whole development setup and building a complex block or an apartment building. This is one of the most popular ways to use vacant land, especially in highly desirable areas where there's a shortage of accommodation. It can also be commercial type buildings, warehouses or industrial buildings, depending on the demand in that specific area. I obviously need to mention that your investment cost for this option is a lot, and you need to make sure that you understand what you are doing. You need to make sure that you do your research before you approach this strategy and understand the risks and rewards involved. Number 5 is going to be using vacant land for storage, and it can be as simple as using a vacant piece of land to store industrial equipment, farming equipment, or even stuff like camper vans. You can also consider building a storage unit like your typical storage container or storage garages that you can rent out on a monthly basis, because people have so much stuff but nowhere to put it. If we consider the amount of items that each and every household owns, most people need extra storage for the stuff that they have. This is again something that can be very cheap to start with. For example, renting it out to someone that needs to store a large tractor. or you can go as far as building a storage unit block with a lot of storage units. Number 6 is using your vacant land for livestock or crops. Agriculture is a huge part of South Africa's economy as well as worldwide, and having land to rent out to a cattle farmer, a sheep farmer, or someone that plants soya beans or corn or whatever it might be is a great way to receive a good rental yield from your property without really taking on too much risk. In the Free State, for example, it's very difficult to find grazing land for a farmer that wants to rent it per large livestock unit. I've been specifically looking for farmland to rent for cattle, and it's really difficult to find, so the demand is so big. If there's land available, it gets rented almost immediately, but again, this will be different in each and every area. We're getting closer to the last creative way to generate money with vacant land, and this one is probably the one with the most opportunities, especially in South Africa. Before we get to that one, the 7th creative way is to use a piece of vacant land and to build a off-grid cabin and rent it out as a off-grid Airbnb. This has become a very trendy way to use vacant land and to receive a good rental return via short-term rentals, especially in the Western Cape or any area where it has a large tourist attraction. This might be one of the most interesting ways to create a rental return with vacant land is to simply build a tiny house. Unfortunately, building a tiny house just because it's tiny isn't really a cheap exercise, so of course there's still a lot of cost involved. But I've spoken with people that rent out these tiny units for massive amounts per night just because of the aesthetic look of these properties. I feel this is a great way to use at least a part of your vacant land, again if it's in a desirable area. Number 8 is to use your vacant land as campground. You can simply rent out your property as a camping area. Let's say you rent out a certain square meter of your vacant land for someone as a camping spot. People travel all around South Africa with their bakkies and their trailers and their camper vans, and they obviously need camping grounds to sleep before they get to their end location. This is seen as a cheaper way to explore South Africa, so the demand will always be there, and again there's not a lot of cost involved. All you'll have to do is to make sure that the campground is safe and it has all the necessary facilities for people to, for example, braai and go to the bathroom and take a shower. Before we get to the last strategy, I want to thank the sponsor for today's video, which is CarTrack. CarTrack is not just a car tracking service, they have many added features available. Get vehicle tracking protection you can trust for as little as 99 Rand per month. Did you know that CarTrack has an easy, accurate and tax compliant logbook feature where they automatically log all of your vehicle trips, and you can simply mark them as a business trip or a personal trip, and above that they can automatically create and email your SARS ready tax compliant logbook, and you can simply claim your taxes back effortlessly from SARS. CarTrack also has CarTrack Protector, which is your travel companion. You get access to emergency ambulances, medical and roadside and legal assistance at the touch of a button with Protector on the CarTrack app. CarTrack can send help directly to you no matter where you are, ensuring you are never left stranded when it matters most. Another impressive feature CarTrack has is called crash detection, which is your first responder. CarTrack's smart device can detect a crash or accident using AI technology and G-force sensors, alerting CarTrack and allowing them to send emergency help to your exact location. If you need a car tracking service with many added benefits like I just mentioned, please consider following the link down in the description to sign up with CarTrack from as little as 99 Rand per month. Then last but not least, the 9th creative way to generate money with vacant land is to build rural rental units. The demand for quality accommodation in rural areas is so high because of the condition of these areas. It's very difficult to find a clean and safe area that you can rent for an affordable price in these rural areas. If you live in these rural areas, you have an upper hand because you will know the gap in the market and the specific areas where the demand sits. You can go ahead and build back rooms in your yard and rent out each room for an affordable amount, and at the same time help accommodate people and give them a safe place to stay. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think about these creative ways. Feel free to comment down below if you can think of another creative way, and I love it when you guys add value to the comment section.